Alonzo, Bell, and Renfro. First time there were no American League players in the top five that I can remember. But if you really want to go back, you go back to 1955, where all right, listen to this. Listen to these names: White Sox Al, Zelmo, Only Toledo. This is for you. 1955, the top five hitters for home runs: Ted Kluszewski, Duke Snyder, Willie Mays, Ernie Banks, Eddie Matthews. They were all National League guys. So, pretty good, right? That's pretty good. So now they're all National League guys. And that's the last time that happened. So, lots of stuff going on there. As far as the trades are concerned, well, let's go over some other things. First of all, as we go around the horn now, David Peralta, 10-day injured list for the second time. He's got a shoulder issue. It's nagged him since May. The Diamondbacks and the Rockies were both sitting at 500 as they came into Sunday's series final. 3-game sweep by Arizona. They stand alone in second. 1.5 games back from the wild card spot. Christian Walker, who I just picked up Christian Walker because a lot of players in labor, in tout wars, if you picked up a player, it didn't. It's you can pick them up until next week. A lot of people didn't know that you could actually make waiver picks. So I got Christian Walker. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. But that's what's going on. Peralta, when Peralta went down the first time, he was batting .309 with 7 homers, and he hasn't even been close. He's batting .252. With 2 homers since then, okay? For Atlanta, Dallas Keuchel will start July 12th game for the Braves in San Diego. They're changing around their pitching a little bit. Other starters will be Julio Teheran, Mike Soroka, who could pitch in the All-Star game Tuesday. So we'll see about that. And they had at least 5 players who hit at least 15 home runs, something only 9 teams have accomplished before the season. And I think Ozzie Albies had 14. So, of course, that's the thing. And Jamison Tyon started playing catch at PNC Park before the All-Star break. So the Pirates' right-hander has been out since May. He's got that flexor tendon strain in his right elbow. So there had been hope he may be able to pass the initial test a few days ago. It didn't happen. The plan had been for Tyon to throw Thursday before the Cubs series, but that was pushed back. So now Tyon has at least taken this step before the first half of the season ended. And a player that may or may not go, Tyler Yates, constitutes madness to think that they could trade him, and madness to think that they won't trade him with the with whatever they could get. I mean, when the Padres traded James Shields to the White Sox in 2016, selling near the top, that's what landed him Fernando Tatis. One of the more interesting teams in Major League Baseball, of course, is the Cardinals. Marcell Ozuna is going to be back. He would have been their all-star. He's got that broken hand. He's going to return later this month. He's been hitting constantly. Great contract year season he was having, okay? So we'll see. His batting average on balls in play, even with his good numbers, is only .272. The league average is around .300. The lowest BABIP he ever had has been .296. So we'll see. We saw some recent activity by Dexter Fowler. We saw Paul Goldschmidt. Both hit a couple of homers recently. As for Goldschmidt, he's got a 7-game hit streak heading into the break. He's the most important offensive player in the lineup. No question about it. So they got rid of Tommy Pham to let Harrison Bader play every day. Don't forget that. He's another player you could try to pick up. He's going to play every day, okay? His glove doesn't make up for his lackluster bat. He's been a good bench weapon, but I really believe they're going to give Harrison Bader every opportunity. So if you're looking for an outfield, looking for a player, don't forget, hop on him. And I'll tell you, a month ago, Andrew Kastner had an ERA of 5.04. All right? He has been brilliant since then. 5 straight quality starts. He had a 1 run game on Saturday. I got to sneeze. So he's got a 1.4 ERA in his last 5 starts. So I know it's so hard to pick up Andrew Kashner and put him in your lineup and let him play, but I mean, he's been truly one of the good pitchers. Good morning to Jonathan Danger Cole. All right, got a little announcement to make. We'll make that in just a few seconds. Okay, so Kashner, 32 innings, allowed 5 earned runs, 19 hits. So I'll tell you something. His changeup has been amazing. Only a 149 batting average off that changeup, and he's thrown that pitch about 31% of the time. So don't overlook Andrew Kashner is what I'm saying. Take a look at Robert, whatever his name is. He was in the futures game, and I got to tell you something. He'll be up by the end of the year, but he's a definite keeper for next year. And Luis Giolito having a remarkable season except against the Cubs. His ERA against the Cubs is almost 12. Against everybody else, it's 2.2. If you didn't see it, Max Kepler, the latest Twins player to get banged up. So Cleveland making a run. Okay, look. He was 1 for 5 before. Just recall Jake Cave pinch ran for him, and Baldelli has seen 8 players land on the injured list over the last 3 weeks. So if you got Max Kepler, look out. He could be out, and that would absolutely hurt. Once again, a very good morning to you all. Don't forget Arnie coming up next. And here's the announcement that we want to make. First of all, we will be in the great state of Cleveland on July 17th. It's Trevor Bauer Bobblehead Day on July 17th, so we'll be going to that game. We'll probably be there on the 16th. If anybody is in the Cleveland area, that would be terrific. And then on the 27th of July, 10 days later, we'll be in Toledo, Ohio, to be with Unholy Toledo and a cast of thousands. Unholy Toledo holding a little bash over at his place, and we really appreciate that, Mr. Unholy. You're a great person, a great friend, and this is why you play fantasy sports, okay, for the people that you meet. We'll also be in Chicago for a couple of days, so Cleveland, Chicago, and Toledo. You got 3 options. Then we're heading back home, and then we'll be taken up on the World Tour at the end of August, okay? So that's our schedule for now. And, of course, the network is going to be heating up, absolutely, okay? So absolutely going to be heating up. Now, let's get to the important stuff. Let's just go through, not going to go through the box scores, but we'll just give you some notes that's going on. And, yeah, maybe let's take a look at the box scores. Yeah, let's just take a look. Haven't done that in a while. With the Orioles and the Blue Jays, you got to take the position. I mean, Gurriel, of course, we mentioned, went 2 for 4. He's sitting at 303. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., 2 for, what's a podcast or a show without talking about Vlad? 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored. He had 2 hits. He scored twice. And that's it. So Vlad just doing everything he possibly can, and he's going to be in that home run derby. He came in 5 for 25 over the first 9 games of Toronto's homestand. He was dropped to 5th in the order, the lowest he's batted since May 7th against Minnesota. So that's it. So Vlad, look, I'll tell you what. And, you know, take a look at Danny Jansen. He hasn't struck out in 45 plate appearances. That's the longest active streak in the majors. And that would have been a great trivia question. 45 plate appearances without a strikeout is the longest active streak in the majors. Somehow I'm reading that, and I can't believe it's possible. That doesn't make any sense. Randall Grichuk sat for the 4th straight day, by the way. Vlad started at 3rd, so we'll see how that works out. So that's your Vlad news of the day. As far as the Phillies and the Mets, of course, can't catch a break. Aaron Nola looked pretty good. We told you about that. Nola had held the Mets without a hit until the 6th inning. We mentioned that Bruce struck 2 home runs there, And there's nothing you can say about the Mets. Their highlight of the day was Pete Alonso hit his 30th home run and he's batting 300. I'm still going to take the position that he is going to fade with his batting average big time. Big time. Second half of the season, pitchers now are going to say, the hell with pitching my strength. I'm going to pitch to his weakness, and that's the off-speed pitch. And you'll see. I'll be right about this. Aaron Nola extended his scoreless streak to 22 innings, and then Alonso hit that two-run drive out of there. Nola has allowed 3 hits in 6 2/3. He's never pitched a complete game as a pro. Aaron Nola has never pitched a complete game. 112 starts, 31 in the minors, never pitched a complete game. Unbelievable. Never pitched a complete game. Arrieta, bone spurs in his right elbow. We heard about that. We'll find out if surgery is needed. Michael Conforto entered in the 7th inning, and Callaway says he's ready to go. So for all you Met fans, Conforto has been a disappointment, I think. He's just been a disappointment. Trevor Bauer pitched, and he wasn't the star. Jake Bowers hit a 2-run home run. Okay, so how about that for Jake Bowers? Naquin and Kipnis also homered. But I got to tell you, Trevor Bauer, 4-0 with a 2.9 ERA over his last 6 starts. He allowed 1 hit through the first 4 innings, and then Peraza got a single to lead off the 5th. But I'll tell you something, that strikeout, boy, when Trevor Bauer got that strikeout going, he's impossible. Jose Ramirez had a sacrifice fly, but still, it was Trevor Bauer Day. That's for sure. Cleveland's 18 hits were the most allowed by the Reds this season. And Danny Salazar, who's been sidelined all year, had that right rotator cuff tendonitis, is scheduled to make his first rehab appearance Thursday in Double-A Akron. Nick Senzel left the game after 1 inning. He sprained his ankle. So we'll see how that works out. And Alex Wood threw 31 pitches on Saturday in Triple-A. So Alex Wood trying to get back into the groove. Red Sox and the Tigers, Brandon Dixon hit a home run. How about that? But it was all David Price, 1 run over 5 innings. They finished off the Tigers pretty easy. So, look, I'll tell you what, for the Tigers, a bad year got worse. They lost 14 of 16. They've 6-25 since June 1st. Miggy's starting to complain in the Detroit newspapers, and what can you do? It's not, but they do have a good farm system, and according to Miggy, he says we cannot trade Matthew Boyd. We can't. If we got good players in the minors and we're building, how do you trade a pitcher like Matthew Boyd? Okay? And he's got a point there. So, Matthew Boyd, if we're all jumping on his bandwagon thinking he's going to wind up a contender, it might not happen. So, David Price now, the 9th pitcher since 1920 to have 150 wins with a winning percentage of .65 and an ERA of under 3.3. He's in the class with, listen to these names he's lumped in with: Sandy Koufax, Roger Clemens, Pedro Martinez, Whitey Ford, Lefty Grove, Clayton Kershaw, Ron Guidry, and Max Scherzer. And you put David Price in there? All I could say is, in memory of Phil Rizzuto and Harry Carey, holy cow. Yankees and Tampa. Now, Tampa split with the Yankees, and they have a series coming up with Baltimore, but, they had to really do more. And how about Travis d'Arnaud? Playing first base, 1 for 4. If you need a catcher, he's eligible to catcher. I'm telling you, I have him in a National League only. I kept him when he was with the Mets in an only league, and he's turned out to be tremendous. Charlie Morton came up big. He struck out 10 in 5 2/3. He allowed 1 run, 5 hits. His American League best ERA is 2.32. He's given up 2 runs or less in 15 of 19 starts. And Brett Gardner, I can't believe Cha-Cha dropped Brett Gardner. He homered again. James Paxton gave up 2 runs and 7 hits. 11 strikeouts over 6 innings. Yankees have had 21 players in 24 stints on the injured list. That we all know. Unbelievable, all right? The Yankees just doing it all. The